Prime Minister renews drive for CSME implementation, meets with members of Pettijohn Review Committee, and
Miss Lou was the icon, the representation of our culture globally.
You're watching Jamaica House Weekly. I'm Anthony Morgan. Prime Minister Andrew Holness was among scores of persons who gathered at Gordon Town Square in St. Andrew Friday to unveil a life-size bronze statue of late cultural icon Louise Bennett Covelli. Miss Lou, as she was affectionately called, would have celebrated her 99th birthday at the time. Describing her as the perfect cultural ambassador, Prime Minister Holness said she was the first Jamaican to bring our language to the world stage, and doing so while mastering the English language.
The language was not baseless, because the Jamaican people used the language to express our own philosophical outlook on life. We use the language to create music that is soothing, that is uplifting, music that people want to embrace and be a part of.
Prime Minister Holness also expressed hope that the statue, mixed with plans to give Gordon Town a facelift, will increase the area's prospects as a community tourism site.
We are doing what is necessary to tap our culture, to get the economic value of our culture. Very soon, we will be making Kingston a port of call for cruise shipping. We will be returning cruise ships to Port Royal and to Victoria Pier. We are working very hard to make Kingston a port of call. And the tourists will want to not just come and see Bob Marley's statue and the Institute of Jamaica and all the other places. They are going to come right here in Gordon Town.
Earlier in the week, Mr. Holness was in Barbados to participate in the 9th meeting of the Prime Ministerial Subcommittee on the Caribbean Single Market and Economy, CSME. There, he and other CARICOM members renewed their commitment to tackling critical issues affecting the full implementation of the CSME. At the follow-up meeting to July's CARICOM conference in Montego Bay, regional leaders discussed the free movement of persons, skills, services and establishment. Contingent rights, labour, travel facilitation and the role of the private sector were also covered in Wednesday's meeting. Prime Minister Holness, who is the chairman of CARICOM, urged member states to move forward with the agreements reached. He also encouraged regional leaders to ensure that frameworks were in place to consistently monitor implementation of those commitments. Before leaving for Barbados, Mr. Holness held a meeting with the newly formed Pettijohn Review Committee. The Chris Zaka-led team will conduct a strategic review of the operations of the state-owned oil refinery. Findings of that strategic review are expected in 4 months' time and will assist the government in deciding the way forward for Pettijohn. Tuesday also saw Mr. Holness meeting with a couple who celebrated their 101st visit to the island. Fred and Cynthia Pennekamp have been visiting Jamaica for 36 years. They will return next month to celebrate their 50th anniversary. And the Prime Minister Holness closed out his meetings at Jamaica House Tuesday with representatives from Red Stripe. Led by CEO Ricardo Nuncio, the delegation discussed plans for Red Stripe's 100th anniversary celebrations this year. And the Prime Minister Andrew Holness is urging persons to access rewards by sharing what they know with the police through channels such as Crime Stop. The Prime Minister's latest call follows the August 23 murder of 14-year-old Yatania Francis in Arnold Gardens, St. Andrew. To aid in the capture of Yatania's killers, money has been set aside to incentivize information sharing on child murderers, molesters and traffickers. The money is to come from the $100 million Get the Guns campaign fund. When he met with the family recently, Prime Minister Holness relayed the police resolve to ensure justice is served. He used the meeting to personally donate $200,000 to assist with funeral expenses. Mr. Holness also committed $100,000 of his personal funds to Crime Stop. And that's it for Jamaica House Weekly. Join us next time for more news stories coming out of the Office of the Prime Minister.